There is a story I'd like to tell. There were 10 friends, went into the jungle for a hike, came across a wild river, and they were pretty adventurous. So they said, let's cross the river, even though it's wild. Let's go and then continue our path. So the guys went in, and then with a lot of struggle, putting a lot of efforts against the wild currents, they came out of the river and then went on the other side. And one guy said that maybe we should just count. We are like 10 of us, so we started with 10. There will be, so nobody's, pulled away into the wild river. So they started counting, and all of a sudden the guy realized that there were only 9. He says, what happened? We lost one guy. This is so serious. So he says, why don't you count? Maybe my counting is not the best, So the other guy counts, and then he says, yes, there are 9 people. We lost one guy. So I don't know who was. I mean, they're trying to figure it out, and each person takes a turn, and everyone comes out with a count of 9. So there was one stranger passing by. He says, can you please do the counting for us? Because it seems like we have lost one guy. And if you really lost somebody, maybe we would like to have your help. The guy counts, and there are 10 people. So he says, what's wrong with you guys? He says, oh, we forgot to count ourselves. Don't laugh. This is our life. We always count others. We never count ourselves. Our life is divided between objects and subject. See, every incidence of life that we live, every encounter we have, we always take things for granted as if it's just going on. We never really divide the whole thing into equations of objects and subjects. And we believe that the world of objects is all we have. Our mind is filled from the time we are born. We are filled with objects and objects and objects. Every single thing is an object, and we never really understand that none of these things would have been possible without the subject. If I look at you, I am a subject and you are an object. But when you look at me, you are a subject and then I am an object. But what makes you an object at one time and what makes you subject at another time? We never really pay attention at the other end of the equation. And that way our whole life is wasted, because the only life we know is the life of objectivity. We are really impressed with others, we're impressed with objects, and all the events which are happening are basically various permutation combination of all the objects, people, objects, situation. And this is all we know, and it's filling our mind from the time we are born till we die. The problem comes in when we consider us as subjects. We never really analyze what part of us is the subject. We just believe that this is me and I am a subject because I'm moving around, I'm talking, I have intelligence, I can see, I can touch, I can smell. We never really go within to count ourselves into that equation. So just like those fools, we are born, and fools we die, unfortunately. So the awakening starts when our journey starts within us, and we really try to start taking into account of ourselves. And that journey into subjectivity is the journey of meditation. And call it a journey. How much journey does it really take for you to leave from your home and stay at home and be at home? No journey. The subjectivity is already there. You don't have to go outside to find it. For objects, you have to travel. There is a big journey involved. And we are so accustomed to doing this journey so much that every time somebody asks me, says, oh, you want to reach to God, I say, what do I have to do? Doership is built into the world of objectivity. We manipulate the objects and achieve our goals. And we are so saturated with objectivity. Our ideas are objective, our likes are objective, our dislikes are objectives. Somebody comes and says something good about us, we start feeling good. The guy who is telling you that you are superior than somebody else, he's lost in objectivity because he's comparing you as an object with another person as an object, and he says, oh, you are better, you are worse, or whatever. And if we get inflated, then we are also lost in the objectivity. You really start believing it. So one guy is lost, and another guy, meaning yourself, is also lost. So all these conversations are happening in the field of objectivity. The tree grows taller and taller, not without deeper and deeper roots. The deeper the roots are, the more growth is possible. So if the trees grow without the roots, when the storm comes, the first tree to get toppled is the one without roots. But tree is smarter than us. We have no roots. We are living in the world of objectivity, and we have no roots. The roots meaning where the subjectivity lies. We never go within and find out. Within our body, what is the subjectivity? Where is that subjectivity lying? Where is that awareness? Where is that consciousness that everybody is talking about? We are never aware of our consciousness, because our consciousness, it continuously being used up towards the objects, because our goals are objective. If somebody comes and insults us, the guy who is insulting you, he himself is lost, but when you get insulted, you are lost also, because now you're feeling so bad compared to somebody else, right? Oh, he's so good, feeling superior, feeling inferior, feeling depressed, feeling anxiety. Look at the multiplication and ramifications of the field of objectivity. It's not even a tree, it's like a jungle within us. And all those trees and vines and shrubs and weeds and everything, but they're all without roots. So the equation has to go deeper. And to connect to the world of objects, we need to think of the objects. We have to have the shape and the size and the color and the height of the objects that we have gathered within us. A bird is flying, and you close your eyes. In your mind, the bird is still flying. You capture that bird with its body, the color, the speed. Everything happened in the four-dimensional world of objectivity. Now you're storing in your mind. Your mind is nothing but object. It's an object. It has an objective nature, because that's where you are using it. It's not totally objective either. There is a subjective component to it, but we never choose to go. So our thoughts are also objectified. So we never really reverse the direction to go within. And that's where the world of subjectivity remains. So the meditation is all about realizing that we are subjects, but why are we subject? When we look at somebody and interpret that I saw such and such person, he is a friend of mine, I saw a bird, I saw a sun, I saw galaxies, I saw the cosmos, I am the subject, and the rest of everything is an object. But we never go within and analyze where is that subject lying. So the deeper states of meditation makes us realize that whatever we can objectify is an object, and whatever we cannot objectify is the subject. So that's where the deeper states of awareness starts rising. When you think that you are a subject as a physical body, but then when you start objectifying your body itself in your thoughts, if you close your eyes, you're not seeing your body, you still have to think of the body. When your perception starts becoming very subtle, you start realizing that even a single thought is coming around somewhere. What is it about? The last thing that's gonna stay is your belief that you are the body and you are the mind, your thoughts, your beliefs. Even those starts becoming foreign. And what remains after that is pure subject, is the state of consciousness, where there is not even a single ripple of thoughts. And that's where the depth of our the tree of life starts coming into the picture. So the deeper we go into the world of subjectivity, and believe me, there is a world there. It's an infinite world there. Only thing it requires is for you to go within and explore it. Because this is the world without objects. There is nothing there. It's dark, pitch dark. There is no shape, no size, no color, nothing. But there is existence. Existence is something you cannot deny. And that existence is also filled with awareness. There is consciousness there. Because that's the only way you can be conscious of your thoughts, including a tiny thought, the most important thought, that I am the body. The last thing will disappear. You said everything that I have can disappear, but I cannot disappear. Think again. Someday you will disappear also. And you are disappearing every single second. Every single second, you're breathing in, breathing out. The molecules are coming in, molecules are going. Every single, we are shedding 50, 100,000 cells. Every second we are shedding. So that change is happening. Science has told us that we are more bugs than what we are. I was watching a beautiful show in Netflix, The Bugs on Us. It's very, very, not Netflix, it was on Amazon Prime. They say there are more bugs in our body than our cells. The number of cells we have, there are more bugs within our gut, on our skin, our eyelids, our navel, you name it. So we are actually more bugs than human. And yet how much fallacy we are really living with. And not only we don't even know this fact, but we have made an ego out of it also. Something that is changing all the time. Our existence would not be even possible without these bugs. In fact, they say if you really study your DNA and the genetic structure, there are remnants, fossil remnants of billions of years back when the viruses and the unicellular organisms existed. They have incorporated into our genetic pool. And that's what's making us. We could not exist without that. In fact, I was very fascinating, I didn't even know this, retrovirus. There is a retrovirus that is abundant everywhere, and that has become part of our genetic pool. At one time, it was roaming all over, and goes back, way back when the single cell organisms were created, so many billions of years back. And now this retrovirus has become part of our chromosomes, right, and the genetic structure. This retrovirus is very important. What it does, the umbilical cord that connects us to the mother's body, it allows the nutrition to come in, but all the other invasions of the foreign material, everything else that's coming in, the diseases and all that, it keeps the diseases away. It's amazing that every single human body is being born with the umbilical cord, and that retrovirus, you have to thank that retrovirus to be alive, to be born. So even mitochondria, the mitochondria are the structures, they are like cylinder-like structures where the ATP, the adenosine triphosphate, converts into ADP, adenosine diphosphate. One phosphorus atom is released in the form of energy. This is the energy we all utilize all day long. And without the mitochondria, we would not have that energy. And mitochondria were nothing but viruses at one time. These viruses have incorporated within us with the stroke of evolution. It just happened to be there at the right place at the right time, and all the human species evolved. So we are a collection of so many things, and we are continuously changing. Our ideas are changing, our thoughts are changing, our beliefs are changing, and yet we hold on to this. And that's our mistake. The ego we are holding on to, this is the illusion we need to come out of. And the only way it is possible is to become thoughtless. And thoughts are what's deviating us from what we are. Because when you're home, you're home. You don't have to do anything. That's why we say the meditation is non-doing. Doing means anything. Even thinking is doing. Thinking is what takes you from point A to point B. So the world of subjectivity starts opening up if you start looking within. And that's where the balance starts coming in. And if you think that's where your journey ends, think again. That's where your journey begins. Only once you reach to the thoughtless state, then the world still exists. The world did not disappear. You still have to go out and interact with people. What is going to happen to your age-old beliefs, age-old thoughts, age-old ideas that you really were storing around and carrying around? Change this person, change my wife and change my husband and change the kids, and the kids have to grow up. All those things, what Trump is doing and what CNN is doing and all this, what do I do with all these things? Utilize them. The world is not going to disappear. But the world is here. There is always a purpose about every single event that is taking place. Now you have reached to a thoughtless state. That thoughtless state is going to be your precedence. This is what's going to be your priority, to remain in a thoughtless state, not just 15-20 minutes of meditation all day long. You can be meditative state all day long. What is the difference between thoughts and the events outside? What's the difference? No difference. Bird was flying outside, bird is flying within you. No difference. The difference is we create the difference when our body consciousness is so much alive. But as you go deeper, the body consciousness starts fading. The body seems to be disintegrating. It's literally coming and going. There is no fixed thing like body. But we believe. So the remotest beliefs are gone, but the closest belief is tough. So that's why the repetitive practice of meditation is important. When you suddenly realize that my consciousness is rising and getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and physical objectified body, objectified thoughts, objectified beliefs and ideas are disintegrating because they come and go. How much I can rely on something that comes and goes? So the reversal, the balance starts like a seesaw, starts going in more towards something, then you know it exists. The existence for the first time is realized within you. You believe in the outside objects as existence. Think again, the next time you know somebody's dead, it's gone. What happened? Dirt, dust to dust, ashes to ashes, gone. You believe in that person for 70 years, 80 years, 100 years, but ultimately everybody disappeared. What happened? How can you rely on an objectified world where the objects are continuously changing? So our inner realization has to start slowly passing on to all these chakras and rising ourselves to the Gnan level, the Agya chakra, Vishuddha chakra, all those chakras, they really rise you higher, and your inner convictions, inner ideas start shattering, your beliefs start shattering. But what do? We open the eyes and we go back to our own same routine. And then we start fighting and we start condemning and we start comparing and we start making decisions about others, and you should do this and we are not even there yet. We don't even know who is the subject within us, and we still try to fix the world when we don't even fix our own world. So the whole idea of meditation and the spiritual practice is to go within and then utilize the objective world. Is like a laboratory. You realize how that relates to the inner self, where the world has started opening up for you. How do we go deeper? And how we remove our own behavior, which was objectified before, and now we have a chance to take a dip within the pool of divinity, the all-time consciousness. Then you realize the objective world came out of the subjective world. Subjective world, which is permanent, is always there. Atma is forever. It's indestructible. but the objectified world is changing right in front of me. I remember I was 5-year-old, 15-year-old, 25-year-old, 35-year-old. All that changed, and you still not want to believe? And that's where some problem comes in, because your inner depth will convince you. You may not agree or may not believe, but how can you disagree the facts? That you have objectified your body, your mind, your thoughts, and you still exist. All your concepts about who you are gone, and you still exist. How can you deny that? That's where you reach to the rock bottom. In the wild river, all of a sudden you have reached to a huge stone which gives you a sturdy footing. And this is the first time you have reached to the rock bottom place, which cannot change. And that's what's called dharma. The word dharma is adhar. Adhar is something you can always go back whenever you have question, whenever you're down. So that becomes your parameter to judge the world, not the world, your actions in the world, and realize where you were wrong. And wrong things starts correcting itself. Just give you an example. Last weekend I did 13.2 miles hike, and it was totally different group. And we have never done like 9 hours of hike in the cold. It was gonna be like 30, 35 degrees. And then the group was totally new. So I was just like debating, should I do it or not? And then the deep that you take in the consciousness, it exposes you to the infinity. And infinity is infinity. Infinite means there are any number of possibilities are there. So if you are thinking that should I go or not, you are utilizing your mind. And mind is a product of infinity. Mind can never be able to perceive the infinite possibilities, because that is not the structure of the mind. Mind is objectified. So objectified, and everybody's mind is objectified. Nobody's mind is subjectified, because mind is an object, right? So what happens is that mind gives you 2, 3, 4 different possibilities that, okay, I may not like it, I may not be able to do what if other people go for this and that and all that. Well, maybe I don't have to do it, maybe I'm okay with whatever I have. But we don't realize that every moment that comes in your life is coming from eternity. Every single moment is coming from eternity. Learn the message of eternity. How can you learn the message of eternity from a moment if you yourself have not experienced the eternity within you? So that's why I say regular meditation is extremely important. Going to that state of the thoughtless state, and then experience that state of limitlessness. There is no way to define it, it's only to experience it. But once you experience it, get comfortable with it, that starts becoming your nature. Because so far you were finite at your body level, at the mind level. But now you're not the body and you're not the mind anymore. Total transformation. A pupa becomes the butterfly. You were locked up in your mind, you're locked up in your thoughts and beliefs. What did that do for you? Anxiety, stress, grief, worry. And that's what my mind was doing at that time. Oh, what should I do? Should I do something? I had like so many thoughts. I said, okay, hands down. Infinity has to come into the picture. Infinity is the one that created that moment for me. I'm gonna take it, no matter what. Small thing, not a big deal, but I'm just trying to make you understand that how infinity can be used. Every single that thing that comes in front of you, you grab it. That means eternity had created that moment, and you back off, you utilizing your mind. Then you are regressing yourself to the mind level, and that life at the mind level will be always wobbly, because mind creates 2 possibilities. One, you could have really good time and great opportunities. Another, not feeling well, I didn't do it, I don't want to do it, why suffer this and that and all that. So at some point, mind has to be transgressed. But the transgression of the mind doesn't happen if you don't know what is beyond it. The only way you will know, you have to go beyond it. And at some point, with repeated practice, at some point, it's all about faith. Imagine it's in a Titanic, and the Titanic ship is, and you had the comfort of luxuries of the ship and everything, and all of a sudden says, now there's no, you have to jump. So jump. That jumping is the biggest step you will take on the path of meditation, to go from finite to the infinite, because you have a lot of things to sacrifice. Because everything that you believe, you don't have to give up anything. Don't give up anything. Doing or giving up something is a physical act locked in the world of objectivity. That doesn't mean nothing. Whether you physically give up, it doesn't mean anything at all. But when you understand that it is not yours, even though you have it, that's the biggest jump. So when that happens, the jump into the infinite is what changes your life. So once you have that infinite, you live it up to the infinite. Whatever happens, it happens. You take it from there. And all of a sudden, the new channels opens up in your life. So I did. I said, let the infinite play. I'm going, no matter what. Turned out to be, we had like 17 people. Beautiful people, very nice people. We had a great time, and everybody were hiking enthusiastic. They hike every week. Every week, and their hikes are not easy. 13 miles, 15 miles, rim to rim, 24 miles here and this and that. Okay, I'm not doing all of it, but they all loved it. They all love my company, and of course, me talking about veganism. Because that's all there is. On the slopes, what do? Talk about what you are, right? So they loved it. He said, really? Somebody says, oh, my cholesterol is high. I said, well, somebody says, I can't lose this weight. They're doing everything else. I said, well, for you, it's only this much, a jump, just a little bit of jump. We already created a WhatsApp group, healthy living and this and that and all that. So all those things open up. They open up only because you believed in infinite. Same thing happened. People offered me to be the president of the Vegan Society. I never done it. I mean, I gave talks, and Gina has, taped my lectures and all that. But this was like talking in front of 200-300 people. I said, well, if eternity brought the opportunity, I'll be stupid to give it up. I said, whatever it takes, it's an evolution. Like Vijay Bhai is saying, you have to evolve. Nothing happens overnight. But the beauty starts after you hit the infinite zone. Until then, nothing happens. So you have to practice, follow the guidelines, whatever it takes. But that's where the objective world starts making your subjectivity deeper and deeper and deeper. And this group is going to go on to Kilimanjaro in February, and I've been to Kilimanjaro. And I told them my story about Kilimanjaro, how I related small event before to what was happening now. I'll give you an example. On Kilimanjaro, there is a plant called senecio. It grows to about 15 meters, 35, 40 feet, at 15,000 feet. It's like at 15,000 feet, there is not much water because the glaciers are there, but there's a runoff water, hardly stays because it just drains away. There is nothing to store the water. So how do these plants grow? Most of the plants are about 2-3 feet, not more than that. But these senecios, they grow to be 35, 40 feet. So it's very unique way this plant has survived. There was a 1 hour of documentary wholly on senecio. I happened to watch it. It was just so amazing. What this plant does, its leaves, once they mature, it doesn't shed the leaves. They become droopy, they become brown, and they stay around the stem of the plant. And the Pacific Ocean, when it sends the fog, the moisture is in the air, these leaves get wet, and they transfer the water down to the roots of the plant. And the plant's is ingenious mechanism. It's very rare plant. It exists only there in the whole world, only in Kilimanjaro slopes, nowhere else. And because of this unique mechanism, the adaptive mechanism, it has not just existed, but thrived, prospered. And it's really and it has a unique ecosystem where the sunbird, there is a special sunbird, comes and fertilizes its flowers. And it's like a beautiful, it's like a jungle there. So I really wanted to see these senecios, and I was so impressed with the tenacity that this plant has, to audacity and tenacity to survive at the height of 15,000, and beautiful. So I always had Kilimanjaro on my mind. And then one day one of my friend came in, and he says, and he had a cold, and he said, "Doc, can you fix me? I have to go to Kilimanjaro." Suddenly, Kilimanjaro came alive. I said, "I'll fix you if you take me with you." So there were hardly like 3-4 weeks left. He said, "Doc, we've been training for 6 months for this." They went to Mount Whitney and this peak and this peak and that peak. I said, "Don't worry about me. Me and Senecio, I'm ready. I'll do whatever it takes to reach the Senecio." And I was running marathons at that time. So I said, I'm not worried about it. Don't worry about it. So we called them up, signed up, and went, right? So at 15,000 feet, Senecios were there. I hugged them, I kissed them, I ground touched them. Whatever it took, I had a lot of respect for this plant. The tenacity in life is very important. And you have to have that, but you cannot survive without your deeper roots. So this tenacity you get in your meditative experience. There is a beautiful word called titiksha. It's a Sanskrit word, 3-letter word, but it describes it so beautiful. Your tenacity to stay in your spot despite whatever situations come and go, meaning not getting affected by the outside situations and having totally steadiness in your life so that you don't have to or need to change the situation that has come in front of you. All that is described in 3-letter word, titiksha. You stay where you are, and whatever the world has to do, no problem. You don't change. Somebody comes and insults you, no problem. I am here. My roots are deep, and my roots are so deep into the subjective field that objective world cannot do anything for me. But all these things, there is a G-spot that differentiate the objective world and the subjective world. And you're right in the middle. When your roots are starting getting deeper and deeper and deeper, you bloom, you thrive, and you really enjoy the life. The balance has to come between objective world and the subjective depth. And that's the state of equanimous state, samadhi state. Because you are so satisfied being in a subjective field that you have no desire for objects, because now you have realized that subjectivity is infinite. There is no way to die at the subjective world because it's consciousness. It's only pure divine consciousness. There is no way for you to die. Death exists only when you believe that you are the body or you are the mind. Your thoughts get replaced, you feel sad. Somebody comes and argues out against you and insults you, and they say, "Oh, you're wrong." All of a sudden our ego gets hurt. As long as the ego is alive, the suffering will be always there. And it is possible to transcend the ego by development of the prajna. The prajna is the capacity to understand the right from wrong. And it's all going within you. Nobody's gonna come and tell you. If you rely on someone else to come and tell you this is right, this is wrong, then you are not, you have not even started your journey within. Your inner self will be telling you what is right and what is wrong. And for that, you have to have a journey within. And then the equanimous state can get established. So every event in your life, use it as an opportunity. And that helps you go deeper and deeper. And that titiksha, the state of titiksha, develops within you by firm conviction, firm belief that I am that consciousness and not the mind and not the body. All right? So much for today.
So in short, doing meditation going
not
inside.
doing, non-doing,
Non-doing.
non-doing meditation.
Yeah, meditation, going inside increases your threshold.
Yes, but you have to realize, you have to convert yourself from what you believed into what you did not know. And now all of a sudden, your identification changes. That's the biggest step. The identification to go from finite to infinite is just like, that's why the self-realization is very rare. It takes a lot of courage to drop it, but courage it is, whatever it takes. So that's why courage is so important on this path. People who are timid and they get affected by the outside world can never go within. So it's very important to have all these things and curiosity, because once you go within, what else is there? So curiosity and a sense of adventure and the courage can take you there.